Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to this video series. Today I'm going to be looking at validation controls. I spoke about validation controls in my previous videos, and today we're going to be delving a little bit deeper into the validation controls that are provided by Microsoft. We can use this validation controls without having to write any code, just like any server controls that we've been provided by the big Microsoft. So let me show you. I'm going to add a web page just to demonstrate the validation controls. I'm going to name it as validation page. Can't type. Validation page. I'm not going to select any master page, just a plain old web page. So in order to use it, I'm going to drag a label, and this label I'm going to put a name as a username. That's the text on the label. We want to change the ID of that as well to label username. So we know that that label is for username, so that's the way. Now I'm going to drag a text box which is going to be used to receive the input from the user, and the text box name will be the text box username as well. So we know that the text box is for the username. What else? We need the I'm going to demonstrate the required field validator. So this required field validator, you need to configure two important properties, which are the error message. The error message will, if the user doesn't input any value in there, we want the error message to be please enter a username. That's where you input the error inside the error message. So in order to actually make the error, in order to send the information to the server to see if it is successful or not, we need a button. So the button will be used to send. So we can change the button text to send. So we want to send the information to the server. So let's run our application. We hope we're not to go. Okay, I know we're going to get an error. The reason why we got an error is because the control to validate property must be set every time you use the required field the validator. So you must make sure that you set it. So even though I said we have two properties to configure, I only configured only one of them, which is the error message. The second one will be the control to validate, which is this one. So you see, we have only one control to validate on, which is the text box username. So that's what we're validating. So now let's run this page again. We shouldn't get any error now. And if we input any value into this box, and we click send, we would not get any error because the field is required and we've actually input a data inside. So we'll be good to go. But if I should empty the text field and click on send button, we should get an error that says please enter a username, which is the error that we have written. That's the error that we want to be displayed. So that's the simplest description on how to use validation. Validation makes sure that you are receiving the data that you want from your user. Even though this username, we should make sure that we use another control to make sure that the user is actually entering string instead of numbers that the user is entering. They're not entering something that we don't want. For example, in a field you might want to perform a calculation between I'll get to that in the future, so let me just leave that one for now. The benefit of ASP.NET is that it actually generates the JavaScript for us. Maybe let me show you what I mean by generating JavaScript, because behind the scene, if we view the source code of this page, we can see that it has generated a lot of JavaScript. Look here, script type equals to text plus JavaScript. So this is one JavaScript which is related to the form submit, and if you look all the way down, you can see that we have a lot of JavaScript here, and everything's got to do with the document. This is the complex JavaScript. You can see the required field validator, and it has generated all the necessary JavaScript for us. So if the if the user's browser supports JavaScript, all this JavaScript will be useful for the validation to be more quicker on the client side, instead of sending it all the way down to the server, because you can also protect your data on the server before it is allowed to be populated into the database. What else do I want to tell you? In the past, in the previous ASP.NET versions, Microsoft actually assumed that every other web browser doesn't support JavaScript, so they made sure that whenever a browser is detected not to be Internet Explorer, they made sure that there is no client side validation that will be performed on the browsers. It's only Internet Explorer that is allowed to perform the JavaScript client side validation. So even though most of the recent browsers and ASP.NET 2.0 and above support every browser to actually use client-side validation, you as a developer should never rely on client-side validation, because the user might turn the JavaScript off. The user might disable the JavaScript in their browser, and if a user does that, it means you'll be receiving a lot of bad data in your database, and your application will be behaving very erratically. So it is advised that you perform both types of validation. You should make sure that you perform the client-side validation, and also defend yourself against bad data by also using the server-side validation, which I'm going to be showing you in the next couple of videos. So I hope you've understood just the basics, and this is just the basics of validation. In the next video, I'm going to be covering other types of validation controls. Thank you.